Hey car fanatics, if you're like me and you can't stand these warning labels all over your car, I can show you how to remove it. But it is a process. You have got to come to terms with buying a new visor if you mess it up, because there's plenty of opportunity to mess it up. So with that, let me show you how to get this off. The problem isn't the colored part that you see, the problem is what's under it. This comes off relatively easily on top here. The glue that holds this on is a nightmare. The process that you'll see is basically we're going to heat this up, put some alcohol on it, and then peel this label off. And then we're going to use gasoline to take the adhesive off. Then we're going to use acetone to buff out the surface. Then we're going to re-dye it, and then we're going to buff it out, and the finished product is like it was never there. But it's a scary process. So this is vinyl, and it's a high quality vinyl. This is not exactly a cheap car, but I don't know how to do it on the fabric ones. So you're on your own, but this definitely works for vinyl. I did the other one as a test before I shot this video, and it came out so good that I decided to go ahead and do the video. So here we go. First we're going to heat this up, and you'll see the vinyl start to buckle a little bit. That's pretty normal. When we're all done, we'll heat up the vinyl and then put the whole thing in the refrigerator to shrink the vinyl back around the cardboard or whatever's in there. You see it buckling right here. So like I said, you got to be a little crazy to do this. Mainly, you know, as long as you're prepared to buy a new one, it's really no problem. Anyway, that's warm enough. Then we're going to put a paper towel over it with some alcohol and let this sit for just a couple minutes. It really doesn't take all that long. And all I'm doing is just pressing on it. I'm going to put a little bit more heat on it. And then we're going to pull back and just kind of test the corner and see how it's starting to pull up. We're going to leave it on there a little bit longer. I'll put just a little bit more alcohol on there. Now this is 70%, so you know, it'll work better with a stronger alcohol, I'm sure. But this is all I had in the house. There are electronics in here. There's a LED mirror on the other side, so you want to be generous with the alcohol, but at the same time not saturate any electrical wires in there. Let's see what it does now. There we go. So I'm going to leave it a little bit longer. I am trying to be careful when I start the heat gun. I don't want to flash any alcohol fumes in my face, so just keep that in mind. So you can see it just comes right off. I'll show you what I mean here with this sticky thing behind it. So if you go like this, this is the nightmare. So once you get it back about, you know, far enough where you can grab it, you can, if you're slow, you can actually just peel it up and it'll peel right off. And you're left with just this sticky residue left behind. So You might think, oh, this is going to be easy. Well, it's not. So that's how easy that is. Take that right off, and we'll discard this, dry it, and so that's what you're left with. This sticky, let me try to get it in the glare. There we go. That beauty right there. That's what you're left with. So we're going to relocate outside, and I will show you how to get that off. Okay, we're out in the garage, and for this part we need some paper towels, some blue tape, really any tape. This product here, it's called Gas Off. It's a kind of a hand, you know, it's made for to get the gas smell off of your hands, but it works great for this too. And then gloves. I'm going to glove up both hands because I can't stand the smell of gas on my hands. Even with that Gas Off product, it's just easier. So we're going to tape the edges of the visor because I want to try to minimize the amount of gas I get around the edges. And I know what you're thinking. It's crazy. Who would put gas on their visor? But I used a bunch of different products, and I found that the gas, it just cuts right through it. And you might ask, why don't I use acetone for the whole thing? Well, the acetone can melt the vinyl, so I do want to be careful at the end with the acetone. Just all you're really doing is just buffing out the vinyl. So this tape is going to release a little bit with the gas, but it'll help minimize the amount of gas that gets all over the place. So I'm just going to take a paper towel, and two of them actually, and I've got gas in a gas can at the end of the garage here. So give me a minute. I'm going to put gas on both of these, get another glove, and I'll be right back. All right. So I simply just have two of these paper towels that I've put some gas on, and you don't want it drippy all over the place. But I'm just going to start rubbing on this glue, and you'll see it'll start to tack up. It actually starts to tack up pretty quick. And right there, you can see the glue starting to release. And all you want to do is wipe it, and you'll get to a point where the paper towel doesn't want to pick up anymore. So that's when you just turn it over, some new paper towel, and just keep pulling the glue off the vinyl. Move the paper towel again. That's why I have more than one paper towel here. You can see this big buildup of glue down here. Now the vinyl starts to stretch out a little bit, like you can see. See the bubbling? That's fine. We're going to shrink the vinyl later. So now I've got this side pretty much clear of that adhesive. Now I'm going to start working on this side. I'll just use the new one. And again, this one we're going to just kind of rotate it because you gotta get this glue to the point where you can kind of almost pick it up. It's like these rubber cement globs is probably the best way, and you can push it right off the edge of the blue tape. There we go. Got a nice big glob of it off with that stroke. And I'm going to open up this All right, that should do it. Open up the paper towel so I got a brand new spot. I'm gonna go ahead and pull off the tape because gas obviously will affect the vinyl. So I just wanna give a wipe where I put the tape. And that has really removed all of this sticky. There you go. All right, so scary part's over. We're gonna take this gas off, and this has kind of a soapiness to it. I wanna really soap up and try to get as much of this chemical in contact with where there was gas as possible, because that's going to neutralize the odor, and it's also going to stop the gas from deteriorating the vinyl. And you see how this bubble is right here? Don't worry about that at all. We're going to shrink this vinyl right back up when we're done. So there's that. Let's take a brand new clean paper towel and give it just one wipe and see how we did. So that's pretty good. That sticky is completely gone, and the only thing you're left with is the kind of the imprint of where the sticker was. I'll show you how to get rid of that. I'm sweating my ass off. That's what you see here. It's a little toasty today in Florida. All right, there we go. Let's go back inside, and I'll show you how to finish it up. Give you a kind of an angled shot. So that's what you end up with so far. An indent, but no glue. Actually, you know what? I see a little bit of glue right here, right there. So I'm going to come back, a little gas. And the gas cleanup stuff. And a clean wipe. And there we go. That's better. Okay, let's go back inside. Okay, so next scary moment is putting acetone on vinyl, and if you know anything about vinyl, acetone will melt it. So you gotta be careful. I don't know, this is just some kind of nail polish remover. It's my wife's actually, and I think it's better than using alcohol from Home Depot. I mean acetone. It doesn't smell as bad, but it's still a little nerve-wracking. What we're doing here is we're going to kind of scar the surface, I guess, is the best way to explain it. If you use too much, it's gonna ruin it, but just the right amount. And I have this stuff here handy, right here, these Clorox disinfectant wipes. This seems to take care of any overdoing it. So I'm going to have one of those ready to go. Acetone evaporates pretty quick, so I'll put a little bit more on the paper towel. And what I'm going to do is just gently rub the area, and I'm kind of feathering it out, and then I'm going to come over it with this. And then I need a dry paper towel to see what it looks like. Let me wipe it with a dry paper. There we go. There we go. So this is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. So if you look right here, right, it's nearly gone right here, but up here you can still see the mark. That's what acetone does. It melts the vinyl slightly and causes it to have, like right here there's nothing, up here there's a little bit of indent, so we'll just rub it a little harder, and then I still want to come back and get the acetone to stop working, and then wipe it with a paper towel, and as expected, this area right here is now perfect. So I'm just going to continue to work my way across about an inch at a time, and I kind of know how much pressure and how much time. And it's really that easy. So you just keep going. We're going to come around again and do the perimeter. Yeah, this one is coming out perfect. So like I said, you know, see, it's really not that big a deal. You just have to, you know, trust the chemicals, trust the quality of the vinyl. So you can see the only thing that's left is this tiny, tiny nothing indent. So I'm gonna, like I mentioned, I've got a little shiny spot right here, so I'm gonna touch that up. And look at it in a glare. This right here is just some wet spot. I mean, look at that. That is, I mean, you can't see it. It's gone. You can't see it at all. That is a good job right there. So I've got a little bit of a discoloration, and you know what I think this is? This is a 2013 car, so that sticker's been on there a while, and I think that it's just a little bit of UV discoloration. So I'm just going to take the acetone and do a couple even swipes, rub it off. New paper towel. Pull that off like that. There we go. That's what it needed. All right, so that's it. That is perfect. There's no gas smell. Got a little bit right there. And here's where you gotta be careful. You know, you gotta just know when to stop. Oop. Yeah, perfect. Okay, now I'm going to do this one extra step. I mean, you could be done right now and put, you know, like a vinyl protectant on there, some kind of, you know, Meguiar's or really whatever, whatever you like. But I'm going to do one extra step, and honestly, the only reason why is because The other visor, I tried WD-40, I tried olive oil, I tried, I don't even know what. I mean, I tried so many different things that I kind of over buffed the vinyl slightly, and I had to fix it with some dye. And the dye leaves it slightly shinier than it would if it was just this one. So I could actually go over this with just a vinyl protectant, but I'm going to go ahead and re-dye it. And this is the product that I use. It's called Jet Black. This stuff is incredible. It needs to be dry and clean. And this is the same drill. You need a glove. You do not want to get this on anything other than where you want it. It's actually designed for black trim on a car. It's unbelievable. The stuff, if you've never used this stuff, there's a little bit of a technique to it. You need to get it on evenly, and I'll show you what I mean. But it's permanent. It doesn't come off on your fingers when it's hot or anything. I mean, it's designed for the exterior. So again, we could be done with the exception of shrinking the vinyl, but I'm going to go ahead and do this step because I did it to the other one and I want them to match. So basically we're going to just take a little bit on the paper towel, and I'm going to, about that much, and I'm just going to rub this in evenly, quickly, just very carefully, and I'm only going to go to the edge of the visor because I don't want to do the other side, and I don't want it to look like I did this side. So quick wipe, and then I'm going to come back with a dry paper towel, and I'm going to buff it off. And you can see I'm getting a little bit of excess. And I'm just going to give it a light buff. There we go, very nice. And see, that's how much I took back off. I'll put these down so I don't get them anywhere. And what we end up with is just kind of a nice, finished look there. There's actually two ribs in the visor, one right here and one right here, and that's really what you're seeing. From my view here, it's just friggin' perfect. Okay, so that is pretty good, dry enough, and I want you to notice this bubble right here, bubble here, and you can see this when I touch it. It's kind of it's stretched out a little bit because we just rubbed the shit out of it. So here's how we're going to fix that. Let me put this back together. If I spill this in the kitchen, my wife will be very upset. All right, so we're going to heat this back up. Get the acetone put away. So all I'm going to do is gently go over it, and you'll see it start to get hot, and see this big bubble right here? That's what we want. See these bubbles? We want all these bubbles to form. And I'm going to heat all around here because when this shrinks, this is what's going to pull this vinyl tight. So we're just going to go over it to the point where it's warm. I want to be even and careful because if you screw this up, you'll get a shiny spot. And that shiny spot will never go away. So you can see it's nice and bubbled. It's almost like it's filling up with hot air. We're also gassing off the rest of the chemical in there and drying that dye that we put on there. So it's a good step all the way around. Okay, there we go. I think we're hot enough. We're going to take the whole thing and we're going to stick it in the fridge. So I'm going to leave that in the fridge for about 3 or 4 minutes, and when I take it out, you'll see how perfect it'll be. Okay, so see, it's totally flat now, and there's this little bubble here that I don't like, so I'll show you how to get rid of that. You just heat it up a little bit. Got an ice cube in my hand, and I'm going to run that ice cube right over the spot that, there we go. There we go. And it's hard to see, but this is just the wetness from the, there we go. It's gone. So that's how you do this. Let's go reinstall it and hit it with a little vinyl protectant, and I'll show you it back in the car. All right, so here's a view of the finished product. It's kind of hard to see because of the sun, but I mean, I'll get out and show you. It's really clean looking. Here, let me get out. So, still kind of hard to see, but there you go. I mean, they're perfect. No more giant, ugly, yellow labels. That's a good view. So, if you have the courage to pull these off and the desire, with a little bit of work, you get a really pro result. That's what they look like from the back. I'm really happy I did it. Hope you like this video, and please subscribe to my channel.